So season's done. Let's just start off with the beginning. Kyle, you were pretty much injured for the beginning of it. I went to the PTQ, the TOC. First tournament, we've thrown these harder urethanes. And so, man, I think I got the night before. So me and my dad go up there, and I get there, and I'm driving really fast in the snow, fast enough for my dad's not comfortable, and I'm trying to get there just in time to practice. And I get there to practice with these two urethane balls, first time throwing them, and I'm warming up, practicing with Cortez on some 37-foot pattern, and Cortez just drilled him too, and he goes, "Man, I don't know about these things, man. I haven't really, I'm not sure." And he's throwing them, and I'm like, I don't know. And I'm throwing mine, and I'm like, man, we're not really shaping much, and blah, blah, blah. And we're throwing them, and they didn't look good. So, and Cortez says he hasn't really gotten his look good. So we come in the next morning, and I'm just thinking in the PTQ 37-foot pattern, guys are going to throw them first couple games and then get out of them. I'm thinking once the pattern stretches, these harder covers are going to plaque. And then the second they plaque, no one's going to trust them, and they're going to go to reactive. So I throw it in practice, but I decide to go with reactive, thinking they'll get at them pretty quickly. And if I can get, I had a decent look, so whatever. Well, anyway, I shoot 180, 180, 180, and I'm watching everyone else around me throw these urethane. Cortez shoots 300 out the gate. That's where I got. He's like, man, I don't know about this thing. And then bam, 300 with it the next morning. And then
he hustled you, bro. That's a veteran move out of a rookie.
That is a veteran move. So I'm 60 under and everyone's 60 over. So then eventually I make the turn, reactive looked okay, and then I actually had to pop the last game. But anyway, just not knowing what ball to throw or the equipment or whatever. Fast forward to the U.S. Open, and I just pulled bad. I mean, they're hard. That building's hard. There's a lot of hook.
I was going through clips last night, like trying to get clips for us for social media, and I was watching your U.S. Open clips, and I'm like, bro, these look impossible. I don't know, one of the patterns you were playing to the right, and it was like it had to be a shorter medium pattern.
I don't know. Was it the long one?
No, because like it was basically you're trying to play up to you're trying to not completely up the gutter, but maybe like 4 or 5.
I think it was the first one.
And if you got it to like 2
with an IQ,
yeah, well, it was because it was a dark ball, and like you got it to 2 and didn't get it correct. It was, and I'm watching this. I don't know what you're really bowling on, but you get it to 2 and it would wash out. And I saw one where you kind of got on it a little bit and up the lane. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be good, and just dead Brooklyn. I'm like, oh, well, this is the make or break pattern at the U.S. Open. At least it seemed like it.
The ball just comes offline so quickly. It's hard to explain. It's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's hard. Richie Teaspool is good every year. And a couple of, obviously EJ Bull is really good and Simo, but it's hard to explain just how quickly the ball wants to come offline. If you're slow a pinch, if you're throwing the wrong ball, if whatever, you just have nothing.
Yeah.
And dude, I would have finished last if I didn't have a good spare game. That's how bad my first shots were. But so anyway, just wasn't quite ready for that one. And then Kyle shows up. We meet in Chicago, and Kyle comes out first one. Kind of barely hanging on, just kind of seeing. Wasn't really quite sure about his body. And then eyeballed the PTQ. And after the 7 games of PTQ, I think I have to roll off with our boy PD Virgos. Turns out we're 8th and 9th. We both get in. And then I get on a pair with Belmo, Prather, and someone else. And that was good for me. I basically finished last in the tournament, but I got to watch them. And I saw, at the time, I couldn't create any tilt. And just watching them for 2 straight days, it's like, oh, well. If you can't learn how to create tilt watching those 2 guys, especially Prather, man, he's a guru on the tilt game. So I finished last, but Kyle, you had a good event. You basically had a lot of success. You're when you fell in love with the attention star.
It is. I was actually kind of planning on bowling the U.S. Open to an extent, but to dive in a little bit with my injury, it's my back hip kind of combination. and I tweaked my back like 3 days before the US Open. And I was like, gonna give it a try. And then I just couldn't. There's no way. So luckily it wasn't like full blowout. Here, let's read. Dude, well, $10. Could you guys do a video of PBA season, various titles and points season, various titles? It's confusing. Oh,
Yeah, we can do
yeah, for sure. The point system is tough. Like, I'll say that it's like still confusing for us to an extent of like who's where on points and who gets what points. I mean, it's just like, but it's getting there. Like, it's getting a lot better. The Super Bowl of bowling has to be the World Series of bowling. Like, there's just nothing else like the other majors are great, like for sure. Like, not taking away, but we bowl 5 tournaments in a week, and it can like, if you have a good week, it can make your season go from like, oh, not great to like, if you win the doubles, like, oh, well, I got a title, and you bowl like crap the rest of the way. So, but yeah, definitely like the Super Bowl bowling, World Series of bowling for sure. But anyway, yeah, I was gonna bowl the US Open, didn't. We showed up at the end. Actually had a PBA league match, bowled that, and then we went to Chicago. And then yeah, Chicago was good. I was able to like get games in, but I wasn't very confident in my game. You're just not sharp. If you're not bowling a lot of tournaments, you're not like mentally sharp. You don't like you kind of can always throw it your generic way, but on the tour, you're never able to really throw it how you want to. You're always kind of uncomfortable. The lanes are difficult, and you have to try to make them, score on them. So, but we had phase 2. I drilled up a phase 2. I was like, you know what? We got to go to Old Reliable. We have all these new balls out, but I want a phase 2 that I can figure out. And I drilled this thing, and it just worked perfectly on the fresh, had amazing ball reaction. It gave me like I drilled it in a way that it started up really early and kind of rolled out, so I could stay up the back of it, and it stayed on line on the fresh, and then I could just get my hand around it in the transition until it was time to put it away. So without that ball, I would not have had success because I didn't have confidence in our red ball yet. I didn't know how to drill it. There's like a thing with the red ball to where typically we're drilling our urethanes with tall pins, or not tall pins, but like pin up layouts. And the nut is apparently drilling them like small, like shorter or lower pins. So like pin down or pin in your finger, which definitely helped out for me, that reaction a lot. But I didn't know that yet. So I didn't red ball. And I'm used to shaping the pitch black. I love doing that. I could hook it. That's like what my eye likes to see. Not very good at going right up the lane with it. And the red ball, you have to keep your angles right in front of me. And when I have to keep my angles right in front of me, man, like I all of a sudden am not very good. I am just not very good at all. So we threw the phase 2, and then watched Wes Malott, the first block, throw this ball called the Attention Star. He was like the only guy throwing it. And I'm watching Wes, and it looks amazing. And I think he had a good block. And Wes has this ability to like throw balls that don't seem correct at the time, but he'll throw shiny balls off the get-go. And I'm like, all right. Anyway, watch him throw it. I'm like, I got to get that. Drilled that up. And then it was just game over for the rest of the season. For me, it was just Attention Star. So was able to get through the games, had a decent tournament, got into match play. Was able to bowled Ronnie, beat Ronnie, and bowled really, really well in that match, I thought. The next day, I just couldn't get my leg. It was hurting really bad. And I wish I would have been more mentally in that match as far as like dealing with the pain. Because I still like regret that because I don't know. I just couldn't get into my shot, and it was hurting, and I just kind of wanted it to be over. But I wish I would have stuck more in it and tried harder, because I was definitely trying, but I could have beat a Lavery because he didn't bowl that great either, and I was close. And so like 5 more good shots in that match, and I think I have a chance, and maybe things loosen up. But anyway, it was great. First tournament back, way past expectations in that tournament for sure.